On this day in history, we remember the remarkable individuals who shaped our world. Welcome to Who Died Today in History, where we honor their legacies. From artists to leaders, their impact lives on. If you find their stories meaningful, like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay connected. Sharon Acker passed away on March 16, 2023 at the age of 87. Marking the end of a life dedicated to film, television, and stage performance. Her death, attributed to natural causes, was a quiet farewell for an actress who had left an indelible mark on both Canadian and American entertainment. While not a household name in the way of Hollywood's biggest stars, Acker's career reflected the shifting landscape of television and film from the 1950s through the early 1990s, a time when roles for women in entertainment evolved significantly. Acker's career began in Canada with an early television adaptation of Anne of Green Gables, 1956, but her breakthrough came in the late 1960s when she appeared in Point Blank, a stylish neo-noir thriller starring Lee Marvin. She later took on a leading role in The New Perry Mason, portraying Della Street, the loyal secretary of the titular lawyer, in a reimagined version of the classic courtroom drama. Her television appearances spanned several decades, including guest roles on Star Trek, The Rockford Files, and The Love Boat. Acker's passing highlights the often overlooked contributions of character actors, those who may not reach superstardom but nonetheless leave a lasting impact through memorable performances. Her ability to transition between film and television at a time when the entertainment industry was undergoing massive changes speaks to her versatility as a performer. The 1960s and 1970s saw television becoming a dominant medium, providing opportunities for actors who could balance both cinematic and serialized storytelling. Acker's career is a testament to the way television gave talented performers consistent work, even if they never became marquee stars. The immediate impact of her death was largely reflective rather than transformative. Her legacy was not one of sudden cultural upheaval, but of steady, meaningful contributions to film and television. For fans of classic television and cinema, her passing was an opportunity to revisit her work and appreciate the depth she brought to her characters. Unlike actors whose fame endures through constant media attention, Acker's memory is preserved through the performances she left behind. Her death invites contemplation on the way the entertainment industry immortalizes its figures. While Acker may not have statues erected in her honor or biopics made about her life, she lives on in the films and television episodes that continue to be rediscovered by new generations. Her career underscores the power of performance as a form of immortality, one that allows actors to transcend time and remain part of the cultural consciousness long after they are gone. Arthur Godfrey, a defining voice of mid-20th century American entertainment, passed away on March 16, 1983, at the age of 79. His death from emphysema was the consequence of decades of heavy smoking, an ironic fate for a man who once made a fortune endorsing cigarettes on air. Godfrey's passing symbolized the end of an era in broadcasting, one where radio and early television personalities wielded immense influence over American culture. At his peak in the 1940s and 1950s, Godfrey was among the most powerful figures in entertainment. His warm, folksy delivery and ability to connect with audiences made him a household name, with shows like Arthur Godfrey's Talent Scouts and Arthur Godfrey and His Friends drawing millions of listeners and viewers. His appeal lay in his casual conversational style. He was one of the first broadcasters to reject the stiff, formal delivery of early radio in favor of a more personal, intimate connection with his audience. However, behind his genial on-air persona, Godfrey had a reputation for being domineering and unpredictable. His career took a major hit after the infamous 1953 firing of singer Julius LaRosa, whom he dismissed on air without warning. The incident exposed his controlling nature and soured public perception, marking the beginning of his decline. While he continued to work sporadically in television and radio, he never regained his former dominance. By the time of his death, the entertainment industry had changed dramatically. Television had evolved beyond the variety show format that Godfrey helped popularize, and his brand of homespun charm had been replaced by a faster, more modern approach to broadcasting. His death served as a poignant reminder of the fleeting nature of fame, especially in an industry that constantly reinvents itself. Despite his fall from grace, Godfrey's influence on broadcasting remains undeniable. His natural, conversational approach paved the way for future television and radio personalities, shaping the modern landscape of entertainment. Figures like Johnny Carson and David Letterman, who built careers on their personal rapport with audiences, owe much to the trail Godfrey blazed. His legacy endures through recordings, archival footage, and the lasting impact of his innovations in broadcasting. Godfrey's story, with its meteoric rise and dramatic fall, reflects the volatility of fame and the shifting values of the entertainment industry. He remains a testament to both the power of personality-driven media and the risks of unchecked influence, an enduring lesson in the complexities of public adoration and personal ambition. T-Bone Walker, one of the most influential guitarists in blues history, passed away on March 16, 1975 at the age of 64 due to complications from a stroke. His death marked the end of an era for electric blues, a genre he had helped pioneer with his groundbreaking guitar style and smooth, sophisticated approach to performance. Walker's innovative technique, characterized by his fluid phrasing and expressive use of the electric guitar, paved the way for legends like B.B. King, Chuck Berry, and Jimi Hendrix. Walker's passing reflected the challenges faced by many black musicians of his generation. Despite his immense influence, he, like many blues artists, did not achieve the financial success or mainstream recognition afforded to later rock and blues musicians who built upon his foundation. The blues, often regarded as the soul of American music, had begun to decline in popularity by the time of his death, overshadowed by the rise of rock and roll and soul music. His health struggles were also emblematic of the hardships endured by musicians who spent decades on the road, with little concern for long-term well-being. The immediate consequences of Walker's passing were felt most profoundly within the blues community. While he may not have been at the height of his career when he died, his influence had already been deeply embedded in the DNA of modern music. Musicians who followed in his footsteps ensured that his legacy would not be forgotten. His innovative playing style, especially his mastery of the electric guitar, continued to shape the sound of blues and rock for generations. In death, Walker's legend only grew. He was posthumously inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame in 1980, and later the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987. His signature song, Call It Stormy Monday, but Tuesday is Just as Bad, remains one of the most covered blues standards of all time, keeping his influence alive in both classic and contemporary interpretations. His impact is also immortalized in the countless guitarists who cite him as an inspiration, from Eric Clapton to Stevie Ray Vaughan. Walker's death serves as a reflection of the way society often underappreciates artistic pioneers until long after their contributions have been absorbed into the mainstream. His story is a testament to the power of innovation and resilience, proving that true artistry transcends time. Through recordings, tributes, and the continued evolution of the blues, T-Bone Walker's presence endures, a reminder of the vital role early blues musicians played in shaping the sound of modern music. Dick Dale, the king of the surf guitar, passed away on March 16, 2019, at the age of 81 in Loma Linda, California. His death was attributed to complications from heart failure and kidney failure, conditions he had been battling for years. Dale's passing was emblematic of the harsh realities faced by many aging musicians. Despite his legendary status, he was forced to tour until the very end to cover his mounting medical expenses. His struggles reflected the broader challenges of the American healthcare system, where even cultural icons were not immune to financial burdens brought on by chronic illness. Dale's death was not a sudden shock, as he had long been open about his health struggles. Diagnosed with colorectal cancer in the 1960s, he managed to recover but later faced a series of additional health complications, including diabetes and vertebrae damage that made performing physically painful. Yet he continued playing live, driven by both financial necessity and an undying passion for his craft. This perseverance became an extension of the values of his era, the relentless work ethic of post-war America, where self-reliance and perseverance were celebrated virtues. However, it also underscored the harsh reality of a system that often leaves artists behind once their peak earning years have passed. The immediate impact of his death was a wave of tributes from fellow musicians and fans, many of whom recognized him as a foundational influence on modern rock and heavy metal. His innovative guitar techniques, particularly his pioneering use of reverb and tremolo picking, had shaped the sound of surf rock and beyond. Dale's collaborations with Fender had also helped push the boundaries of electric guitar amplification, laying the groundwork for the powerful sounds that would later define hard rock and heavy metal. Unlike figures whose deaths catapult them into a new level of mythic status, Dale's passing served more as a reminder of his lasting contributions rather than an amplification of his legend. His influence had already been cemented decades earlier, especially after Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction, 1994, reintroduced Misirlou to a new generation. His death did not alter the trajectory of music history, but it did reinforce conversations about the financial instability of musicians, particularly those who helped shape entire genres, yet never amassed great wealth. Dale's story highlights humanity's complex relationship with mortality, power, and memory. While his name may not be as widely known as those of Hendrix or Clapton, his artistic contributions remain immortal through the music he helped pioneer. He is commemorated through the enduring influence of his sound, the continued popularity of surf rock, and the countless guitarists who cite him as an inspiration. His life and death serve as a testament to the idea that true artistic legacy is not measured in wealth or accolades, but in the lasting impact one has on future generations. Frank Thornton, best known for his portrayal of Captain Peacock in the long-running British sitcom Are You Being Served, passed away on March 16, 2013, at the age of 92. His death was due to natural causes, reflecting a life that spanned nearly a century and a career that endured through decades of shifting entertainment landscapes. Thornton's passing marked the end of an era for British television comedy, particularly the golden age of sitcoms that defined much of 20th century British humor. Thornton's longevity in the industry was a testament to his adaptability, but his greatest fame came from Are You Being Served?, a show emblematic of Britain's class-conscious humor. Premiering in 1972, the sitcom thrived on exaggerated stereotypes, innuendo, and an old-world charm that both satirized and celebrated the rigid British class system. Thornton's character, Captain Peacock, was a model of self-importance, a floor walker in a London department store who took his position far more seriously than warranted. His role cemented him as a fixture in British comedy, making him instantly recognizable to generations of viewers. Though his death did not send shockwaves through the entertainment industry, it was met with warm tributes from colleagues and fans alike. Thornton was part of a generation of actors whose careers were built on stagecraft and classic British farce, a style that was slowly being overshadowed by modern, edgier comedy by the time of his passing. His death served as a reminder of the transition from traditional sitcom formats to more contemporary, fast-paced storytelling in television. In the years following his passing, Thornton's legacy has lived on through reruns, home media releases, and continued nostalgia for Are You Being Served, which remains a staple of British comedic history. His work is also immortalized in Last of the Summer Wine, where he played Herbert Truelove, further cementing his reputation as a beloved figure in British television. Thornton's passing reminds us of the enduring nature of television as a medium of remembrance. While actors age and pass on, their work continues to resonate with audiences, shaping collective memory. His career exemplifies how comedy serves as both entertainment and a cultural time capsule, preserving the quirks and values of an era. Through reruns, digital archives, and public fondness, figures like Thornton continue to be cherished long after their time, proving that humor, like memory, is one of the most enduring aspects of human culture. Charlie Barnett, a brilliant yet tragic figure in the world of comedy, passed away on March 16, 1996, at the age of 41 due to complications from AIDS. His death marked the loss of one of the most electric and naturally gifted performers of his generation. Barnett, best known for his razor-sharp wit and high-energy performances, found his greatest fame on the streets of New York City, particularly in Washington Square Park, where he commanded massive crowds with his rapid-fire delivery and charismatic stage presence. Barnett's death from AIDS-related complications reflected the devastating impact of the epidemic, which ravaged the artistic and entertainment communities in the 1980s and 1990s. Like many performers of his time, Barnett struggled with drug addiction, a battle that ultimately derailed his career. The rise of HIV/AIDS coincided with the crack epidemic, both disproportionately affecting Black communities and artists like Barnett, whose immense talent was overshadowed by personal struggles. His passing highlighted not only the human toll of the disease, but also the lost potential of a comedian who could have redefined mainstream entertainment. Despite his raw talent, Barnett never fully broke into the mainstream. He was famously considered for the role of Eddie Murphy's character on Saturday Night Live, but lost out due to his inability to read scripts fluently. This setback, along with ongoing substance abuse issues, prevented him from reaching the heights his talent deserved. Still, he left a lasting impression, particularly on those who witnessed his street performances, which were as legendary as any comedy club set. In the immediate aftermath of his death, Barnett's legacy remained largely in the memories of those who had seen him perform live. Unlike many of his contemporaries, he left behind little recorded material, which made his legend more mythic than mainstream. However, those who knew his work, from fellow comedians to longtime fans, continued to speak of him with reverence, often lamenting what could have been had circumstances been different. Barnett's story serves as a reminder of both the fleeting nature of fame and the cruel intersection of talent and misfortune. His influence lives on in comedians who bring raw, unfiltered energy to their performances, echoing the brilliance he displayed on the streets of New York. His name may not be as widely recognized as those of his peers, but for those who saw him in his prime, Charlie Barnett remains an unforgettable figure, proof that true artistry doesn't always need a stage to shine.